In a quiet town nestled behind old hills, where the sky always seemed a little gray, and the wind whispered secrets through leaves, lived a curious girl named Alara. She wasn't loud or bold or bright, but she noticed things others didn't, like the way shadows moved when no one watched. At school, Alara sat near the window, drawn more to the trees outside than the blackboard. She doodled in her notebooks, not flowers or stars like the other girls, but dark silhouettes with flowing edges, some tall, some hunched, some reaching, as if trying to say something she couldn't hear yet. Her parents didn't understand her drawings. They called them strange or too sad. But Alara knew they weren't sad at all. They were waiting. Every night before bed, she'd sit by her window and listen to the shadows dance across her room. One rainy afternoon, Alara wandered into the woods behind her house. The trees stood like old guardians, and the path was soft with fallen leaves. She followed a crow, black as ink, until she reached a clearing, where the light didn't quite reach the ground. In the center stood an old stone bench, mossy, cracked, and quiet. Alara sat, her breath slow and still, and suddenly, the shadows began to stir. They twisted and stretched toward her feet, not threatening, but curious, like they had waited for her. A soft voice rose from the darkness. Not a person's voice, but something older. "You see us," it said, echoing like a hum. Alara didn't flinch. "I've always seen you," she whispered back. The shadows shivered, as if they'd been waiting for years to be heard. They told her stories, not in words, but in feelings and shapes. She saw a wolf with no pack, a girl who forgot her own name, a tower that leaned toward the stars, and a child who gave away her smile, so her brother could keep his dreams. Alara came every day, rain or shine, wind or frost. She sat in the clearing with the shadows, listening, learning, gathering their forgotten tales. The town noticed she seemed different, quieter, but wiser somehow. One evening, her mother peeked into her room and found Alara writing furiously in a notebook. "What are you working on?" she asked gently. Alara smiled, "Just a little. I'm telling stories that no one else hears." Her mother didn't understand, but she let her be. Soon, strange things began happening. A lonely boy in her class suddenly smiled more. A teacher who always seemed tired started humming again in the hallways. People who read her little stories said they felt seen, as if someone understood their secret sadness. Alara never claimed they were her stories. She only said they were waiting to be told. And the shadows, in return, followed her gently wherever she walked, not dark, not cold, but as companions. Years passed, Alara grew older, and her stories grew deeper. She traveled, spoke to people with lost eyes, sat with children who couldn't sleep, and always, the shadows listened and whispered back. One day, in a city far from home, she met a little girl named Mira, who didn't speak at all, not a word, not a sound. But Myra's eyes, they were full of shadows. Alara knelt and took her hand. She didn't ask questions. Instead, she told Mira a story about a girl who found a place where the darkness didn't hide fear, but carried forgotten truths. Mira cried, then, slowly, she spoke, only one word, "Again." And Alara smiled, knowing the shadows had spoken once more. Every day, Alina passed by the old well in the village center. people said shadows whispered there at dusk, but she never believed, until one evening, the wind stopped, and the shadows leaned toward her. They knew her name. She froze, heart racing wildly. "Helena," they said gently, "we have seen your sadness." Their voices were soft, like echoes, not scary, not angry, just sad, like someone who'd been waiting a very long time. Alina stood still, unsure what to do. Her fingers trembled at her side. "Who are you?" she finally whispered. The shadows swirled in slow circles. "We are the forgotten," they replied, "stories left untold, voices unheard. But you can hear us now." A chill crept down her spine. She wanted to run, but didn't. Something in their voice felt kind, like an old lullaby from long ago. She took a cautious step forward. "What do you want from me?" she asked. Her voice cracked like a dry leaf. The shadows gathered gently around her. "We want only to be remembered," they said, "to share our stories through your heart." Alina's eyes welled up with tears. She thought of all the lonely nights, all the times she felt invisible too. Maybe this was why she was different. "Will it hurt?" she asked softly. The shadows shimmered like moonlit water. "No, child," they said with warmth. "It will feel like telling a dream." Alina nodded and reached into her satchel. She pulled out her grandmother's old journal. The pages had always been blank before. As she opened the journal gently, the shadows leaned in, surrounding her softly. Their whispers poured into the empty pages, turning silence into stories with each word. The ink flowed not from her pen, but from the voices of the forgotten. She was no longer writing, she was listening. Tales of lost loves and broken dreams, of laughter in war, and songs in sorrow. Each line shimmered faintly in the moonlight, as if written with silver and truth. Alina's hands trembled with quiet awe, feeling the weight of so many lives. The journal glowed gently in her lap. She read aloud the name of a boy who had vanished in the great storm. The shadows around her sighed together, as if they had waited years for this. One shadow touched her cheek gently, its chill soft like the breath of wind. "Thank you," it whispered and drifted upward. Night after night, Alina returned, not to write, but to remember with them. She grew braver with every shadow she heard, and the shadows grew softer in her light. They told her truths no one else knew, about the secrets buried beneath the well, and the melody once sung by the windmill. The village noticed a change in her eyes, a stillness, a depth, a glow of knowing. Children began to follow her quietly, drawn to the peace she carried within. Elders asked her to sit and read to them, not stories, but echoes of their own past. The girl who listened became the voice of all. One evening, as the moon turned gold, a shadow lingered longer than most. It hovered near the fountain in silence, its shape trembling with an old sorrow. Alina approached it without fear now, her voice calm like lullabies in winter. "What story do you carry, gentle one?" The shadow formed a shape of a woman, with silver strands and eyes of mist. "I lost my child during the harvest," she whispered like a falling leaf. "He ran through the fields and vanished. No one heard me over the celebration. Only the wind remembered my scream." Alina knelt by her, heart aching deeply. She held the woman's hand of air. "You loved him still, don't you?" she asked. The shadow nodded, trembling like rain. "Then he still hears you," Alina smiled. And in that moment, something shimmered, a warmth filled the garden like sunrise. The woman's shadow began to glow softly, like morning dew kissed by golden light. Alina watched as petals danced around her, the air thick with a gentle peace. "Thank you, little one," she whispered. "I can rest now. I can find him again." And with a breeze, the shadow faded away. That night, Alina stood beneath the stars. She felt the hush of the village below, but her heart hummed with ancient voices, not lost, not forgotten, just waiting. The wind carried laughter and lullabies, and for the first time in years, the shadows did not feel lonely. Word of Alina's gift spread quietly, not through loud tales or bold songs, but in the way grieving hearts softened, and frightened eyes found hope again. Children stopped fearing the dark corners, elders smiled at the night sky's whispers, the village itself began to listen deeply. Alina never sought praise or wonder, she only sat by the fountain each night, waiting for a shadow who needed a friend. She listened with her whole heart open, speaking gently, never rushing truth. And as she grew, so did her grace, a girl who understood sorrow and stars.